This is a quick little snippet from the recent podcast I did with Dave Knopp from the Knopp Top YouTube channel, and we discussed something pretty unique, something we love to see from the Polaroid Go. Check it out.
I still think that he would have just taken some of that money and just put it towards the Polaroid Go and just make some throwback designs, like make a 600 flip up flash as a miniature Go. It would perpetuate the sales of that little film that they're making. I just think I think people would buy it just to collect it. And so they would get their money back from almost everybody that owns a camera.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's a lot of R&D, I'm sure.
I know. I've been saying this for since the Go came out. They should make a miniature SX70 camera, not an SLR camera. It would still function like a, with a viewfinder type of thing. Not like you won't be able to look through the lens, but they could totally make that in like a folding setup of some kind. I know they could, and that way it would fit in a pocket so much easier. I would carry that thing everywhere if they made something like that folded down.
It would
like
be
that
pretty
and shot
amazing.
Go film. Like it would make me want to film or shoot with that film. But they always say the best camera is the one you have with you. So having that in your pocket and then being able to pull it out and shoot whatever it might be, I think it'd just be cool and make me want to shoot it more. And just like you said, the novelty of it. If they did I didn't even think about that, but like the 600 cameras, the little flip ups and stuff, that would be so cool in a little miniature mode. Oh my gosh, that would just be so fun.
That would be interesting to see. I really don't. I'll be surprised if a year from now they're coming out with new versions of that radio. Because I didn't realize that was a thing that people wanted radios. I actually, more than ever, I'm like, isn't everybody just using AirPods and they're just all in their own little world? This is a Bluetooth speaker. I'm holding up a miniature boombox, and I've wanted this without realizing I've wanted this my whole life. But that goes back to the miniature thing, where if Polaroid would double down and just say, okay, we're coming out with a collectible miniature SX70. Oh my goodness, they would sell out first day. Pre-sales guaranteed.
Actually, what would be a cool idea is if they did kind of what Hasbro does. I don't know if you know about this, but Hasbro has their own Kickstarter program where they put up a toy or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, we want to make this, but it's gonna be expensive, and if we get enough interest in this, enough backers, we'll make it." And people, there's only been one time where something never was made. And these people were buying up, these pretty awesome, elaborate like toys. Like they did one for Star Wars and the Mandalorian and his ship. It's huge, gigantic. It's like almost pretty much scale with the 3-inch action figures. And it was like $500 bucks, maybe less. It might be less. It might have been $350. But yeah, it's a lot of money. But they didn't have to put up the cash to make it first because they had the fans pay for it. And then they made it. And so what if Polaroid did something like that, but with utilizing the Go cameras, like SX70 camera? Or what if they brought back like the Barbie camera, but miniaturized for the Go film? Or like the Spice Girls camera, like the Taz camera, but smaller, like all these like harder or rarer cameras, but shrink them down into smaller deals and to utilize the Go film. Man, that's a good idea.
And I think it probably is we're just naive to the reality of all the business side of things. And there probably is, I don't know how that whole transition worked with like what proprietary stuff they actually purchased when they got the name Polaroid.
That's true.
And I wonder if some of that stuff might be locked into other business situations that they just don't even have the rights to even use something that looks like an old 600.
Yeah, but here's the thing. But here, I mean, you're onto something. But also, the only reason I might disagree with that is again going back to the toy world. There, like certain companies have certain licenses to like Star Wars, right? Hasbro has Star Wars. No one else can really make it. But there is some loopholes, like Bandai makes Star Wars action figures, but they're not action figures. They're classified as model kits. You build them kind of like a Gundam. You build an action figure and you snap them, and there's no glue. You snap them together, and boom, you have this really kick-ass 6-inch action figure. Amazing detail. They're better than technically the ones that Hasbro makes. Or the other thing is scales. Like let's say there's a company out there called Todd McFarlane, and he can only make 7-inch action figures. Yeah, 7-inch action.
Okay.
7-inch, 8-inch action figures, something like that. There's certain licenses that you can only do in certain scales, and certain companies has like those rights to that particular scale. So I'm wondering if Polaroid could do something like that, but take the same camera, but it's shrunk down. Now it's a totally different camera, and it shoots different film and it's a different size and all that stuff. So I wonder if that's kind of like a loophole that could potentially work. I don't know for sure or not, but that's maybe something. Whew, man, that would just be incredible to see from Polaroid if they got creative once again. I feel like they have been slipping in the last, several years. Would you like to see something like this from Polaroid? Or is Dave and I alone in this? Are we just insane? Let me know in the comments below. And be sure to check out the latest episode of the Just Another Podcast with Dave Knopp. There's a link in the description below. It's also available as video form and audio form on Spotify. You're into that sort of thing. And if you want to dive even deeper, there is an extended version over in the Spitfire Club. There's a link for that in the description below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Now, get out there, make some art.